Hello and welcome back. Episode 7 is here. We are talking about the legs of the machine and how we are going to be mounting it so that it's able to turn horizontal and vertical. Now I'm going to cut out these little pieces which mount to the side and allows me to tilt it from being vertical to horizontal and so forth. So I'm going to try to cut these as efficiently as I can. It should all fit here. Then that leaves me with this much left for anything else that I need. Okay, so I cut out the hinges with an angle grinder. Eventually I gotta drill these holes. Obviously they're not perfect. If I line them up like the opposite way from when I cut them, then there's a little bit of an overlap. But I try to cut them as parallel as I could, make them even on both sides, but that should work just fine for this. These are going to go on the side of the machine so I can tilt it horizontal and vertical. I'm trying to mock up my stand design, and I have these pieces from the treadmill, and I'm probably going to end up changing my design that I have on the Fusion 360. I have this just mocked up to the height that I think it's going to be at, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the legs. I think what I'm going to do is chop this, put these two closer together, and then run two beams that will have two beams going up, which will be the connection points to this machine on the side. And then of course those two beams going up will be connected to this, which is going to be welded onto the machine body. Okay, so I just cut those two metal pieces, and I think this is how I want it stanced, basically. I want it enough on the sides to give it some stability, and then have it so that there's clearance here, and there's enough to go in front, because this is front heavy here, so it can counteract that right here. I think the center of gravity is basically like right here, so I have more going this way than I really need. So now I'm going to measure from here to here and cut two pieces out of this treadmill frame here that I'm going to end up welding in between that. So this is what we have now after I cut out these two pieces. This is going to be a platform, and as you can tell, it's offset to the right a little bit because the posts are going to be right here and right here. So the posts are going to be in the middle because this whole thing is going to be able to turn sideways, and then when it turns sideways, then it would be in the middle. So putting the post in the middle makes more sense. So next, cut the posts, and posts are going to be welded here and here on the inside of both, and I'm going to make the posts out of also the treadmill steel, except I'm going to use this, which is a little bit thicker, so I can put a nice bolt through this that goes into this piece. So it's going to be like this, and then this is going to be welded to this body. The post is going to come down, be welded to this, and then the post is going to be bolted to this right here. So now, just to measure from the ground up to here, and that's how much I'm going to cut out for each post. It appears the chickens are interested. Okay, so here's what I have for now. As you can see, the base right here, basically four corners with legs sticking out on each side, and then the posts that go up, which are going to be welded here and here. And then of course this is welded on the other side, on the other side. And then here, there's going to be those hinges, so 4 hinges. And then that allows this whole thing to rotate horizontal and vertical. So of course, this is going to be heightened a little bit. So this whole thing is going to move up on here because it's going to go on the end. And then these might go up a little bit. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. It's not too wide, I think, but I think it gives it some good stability. And then I just turned this whole thing sideways, so this is how it should look when it is horizontal and not vertical. So those 2 posts will be in line right here, and then I should give it enough space to look nice just like that. So the stand is all welded and bolted now. I put the bolts back in just so we can see how it looks like. And obviously it still has to be bolted up to the main body. But for now, this is how it looks. So now that we made the platform that it's going to sit on, gotta figure out how I'm going to drill these holes and where I'm going to drill them. So this is kind of my template. And if the hole lines up in the middle right there, I just gotta make sure that when I rotate it, this piece doesn't hit this piece. So I think it should be good. I might do it a little bit this way of this circle. And then all I gotta do is drill holes in all of these. All 4 of them. And then I gotta put slots in at least one of them, probably maybe 2 of them, because I want to be able to rotate it. But this is a big slot, so this is going to take a lot of drills, and I'm going to have to Dremel it out and whatever, so that's going to be a huge pain. So I got this pill bottle top, and it's got this radius and this radius, so that's what I'm going to just use to figure out where I want these holes. Just trace it here, and hopefully I can trace it in the right spot, and then it should come out with 2. So from here to here, that's where I'm going to be drilling the holes. I actually decided that I'm only going to drill them 90 degrees because I only want it to go from horizontal to vertical. I don't want it to flip back over to vertical again on the other side. Alright, so I drilled out this piece and I took the Dremel to it, and it's definitely not a perfect arc, but I might have to Dremel a little bit more. I think it should work fine. Next is to cut the hole in this for the center and for the pivot point. Alright, so here's the hinge that we have made. So this is going to be mounted. This is tipped over because I already took this off. Mounted like this. and then the main machine's gonna go over here, and then this is gonna be able to go like this for horizontal, and then as it was before for vertical, just like that. And then this top one is gonna just have a lock nut that kind of just keeps it from slipping out, and then this one is gonna be the one that I tighten when I get the position I want. So I'm gonna make one more of these plates, and then the other side is actually gonna be one of these without it slitted, because this only goes through to one side, and then inside of here on this second one, the bottom one, I'm gonna just weld that nut in there so I can unscrew and screw this one in without having to worry about getting something on the other side. So it's gonna rotate just like that, be welded one here, like here to here is gonna be the one of them, and then one is gonna be like here to here. Alright, so we got both. I gotta put washers here because I did these too big, I had a drum let out, whatever, but it works fine. I just have to weld the nut on the inside, and then weld these to this, and then it should be functional, hopefully. Might have to do a little bit of trimming, but that's fine. Okay, next step is to take these, and on the inside, the second bolt down, which is this one, we're going to grind off the surface paint because we're going to weld the nut inside there. Alright, so I ground down this inside here. I also ground down the bolt a little bit. And then on the other side, I threaded it in so it keeps it in there just like that. So I'm going to put a couple tacks on that bolt just to keep it in there, so I don't have to hold a wrench every time I want to secure it in. Okay, so the nuts are welded in, sorry. That worked out well. Can unscrew them and then screw them in. So that's what's gonna control the pivot mechanism. Now bolt this all up is the next step, and then I need to lay this out and then mark where I want those brackets. So now I put it up here just like this so I can see how it's gonna look, and I marked with blue Sharpie where these are gonna go. Just have to level them off a little bit. You can see that one's got a big gap. Level them off a little bit, grind down this metal to bare metal, grind off the galvanized on this, and then weld it together. I'm gonna put some tacks in while it's horizontal so that I can get the right position, and then probably unbolt everything so I can weld it up correctly. Alright, so I took it off, unbolted everything, took as many parts off as I could to make it easier to get to, and now I'm going to fully weld these on as best I can. Okay, so everything is welded, and I put the bolts back in it, just like that, and now I'm going to show you it rotating. So this episode we completed everything except for the rollers, as you can see there on the right, which we will do in next episode, episode 8.